Children, welcome back in your chapter 6 in the second session. In this session, we are going to start the major landforms of the earth. They are mountains, plateaus, and plains. But in this session, we are going to do only mountains and plateaus. Okay, let's move with the mountains. Now, here you can see the picture of the mountains in a range. Okay. So, the mountains are highest landforms and occupy about 1/4 of the total land area of the earth. Mountain range is a system of mountains and hills having peaks, as you can see in the given picture also, and valleys arranged in a line. Now, this type of area is known as valley. The area which comes in between the two mountains is known as valley. There are some mountains which we cannot see are under the sea. And you know that what are glaciers? There are permanently frozen rivers of ice which are known as glaciers. Okay. Now, because of the harsh climate of the mountains, less people live in the mountain areas. Since the slopes are steep, less land is available for farming. Okay. Now, we are going to study about the different types of mountains. Actually, there are main three types of mountains: fold mountains, block mountains, and volcanic mountains. Now, down you can see the different pictures, drawings. Now, if I'll move on to first the fold mountains, here you can see they are how they are in a shape. Okay, understood? Most of the mountain ranges of the world, such as Himalayas, the Alps, the Rockies, and the Andes, are the fold mountains. These types of mountains are the examples of fold mountains. These mountains have been formed recently. They are known as young fold mountains. On the other hand, the Aravalis in India were formed much earlier, so they are known as old fold mountains. Understood, children? Okay. Now, like this, if I'll move on to the block mountains. Now, in the block mountains, you can see here the words horst and graben. Now, what are horst and what are grabens? Okay. Block mountains are created when large areas are broken and displaced vertically. So, the uplifted part of the blocks are termed as horst and the lower blocks are known as graben. So, examples are Rhine Valley and Vosges mountains in the Europe are the biggest examples of such mountains. Understood, children? Okay. Let's move on to the definitions or the examples of fold and block mountains. Now, examples of fold mountains: the Himalayan mountains and the Alps are young fold mountains with rugged relief and high conical peaks. The Aravalli range in India is one of the oldest fold mountain system in the world. As I told you, the Appalachians in North America and the Ural Mountains in Russia have rounded features and low elevation. They are very old mountains. Now you can see the old mountains are having rounded features, but the young mountains are having high conical peaks. This is the difference between the young fold mountains and the old fold mountains. Understood? Now let's move on to the block mountains. When large areas are broken and displaced vertically, block mountains are formed, as I told you earlier. In this case, the uplifted blocks are called horst and on other hand, the lower blocks are called graben. The examples also I told you, for example, Rhine Valley. Now, if I'll move on to the volcanic mountains, number 3, volcanic mountains are formed due to volcanic activities. Okay, a mountain formed due to volcanic activity is called volcanic mountains. Examples: Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Fujiyama are the biggest examples. Then, if you have studied about Andaman and Nicobar Islands in India, they are also the tip of the volcanic mountains which rise from the ocean floor. Understood, children? Now, here you can see a diagram drawing of the volcanic mountain, how the volcanic bombs are coming, ash, steam and gas. Now you can see the crater, then main vent and how the lava is coming out, and you can see here magma. Now secondary cones, secondary ventures. Now magma chambers, here this is the magma chamber, and how the ashes and steams are coming out from the inside part of the volcanic mountains. Understood, children? The important volcanic mountains of the earth I told you. Okay. Now, after the three different types of mountains, now importance of the mountains. Now points are given here: agriculture, resource value, influence on climate, the water cycle, sources of water, political significance of mountains, tourist centers and biodiversity. Okay. Now mountains are useful. They help in the condensation of moisture by forcing the winds to rise. They act as an effective barrier against cold and hot winds. Rivers originating from the mountains provide water throughout the year. Okay, this helps us in the agriculture, in the plain areas. The mountain slopes have rich pastures and valuable forests. And with cool climate in summer, they serve as tourist and health resource. Okay, now mountains are the storehouse of water. Many rivers have their sources in the glacier of the mountains. Reservoirs are made and the water is harnessed for the use of people. Water from the mountains is also used for irrigation and generation of hydroelectricity. As a science student, you know this also. The river valleys and terraces are ideal for cultivation of crops in the mountains. Mountains have rich variety of flora and fauna. The forests provide fuel, fodder, shelter and other products like gums, raisins, etc. from the forests of flora and fauna. And the people visit mountains for its beauty, and several sports also like paragliding, hang gliding, river rafting, skiing are also popular in the mountains, and people love to go in the summer and enjoy their vacations there. So this is all about the importance of mountains. If you open your books after this video, if you read the books, you will get everything. Okay. Now then, the second landform we are going to start is plateau. Now plateau can be formed by a number of processes: upwelling of volcanic magma, extrusion of lava, erosion by water and glaciers. Magma rises when the mantle causing the ground to swell upward. In this way, large flat areas of rock are uplifted. Or we can say plateaus, like all elevated regions, are subject to erosion which removes great amounts of the upland surface, as you can see in the given picture. Low plateaus are often farming regions, while high plateaus are usually suitable for livestock grazing. Many of the world's highest plateaus are deserts. Okay, in the plateau areas, there may be several waterfalls as the river falls from a great height. In India, the Hundra falls in the Chota Nagpur plateau on the river Sabarnarekha, and the Jog falls in Karnataka are the examples of such waterfalls. And the lava plateaus are rich in black soil that are fertile and good for the cultivation, and mainly for the cultivation of cotton. Many plateaus have scenic spots and are of great attraction for tourists. And in the world, the African plateau is famous for gold and diamond minings. Understood? And Chota Nagpur Plateau also famous for coal, manganese and iron with a huge reserves of it. In that, plateaus are very useful. They are rich in mineral deposits. And as you know, in a simple sentence, if I'll say, a plateau is an elevated flat land. It is a flat top tableland standing above the surrounding areas. I hope you understood with the plateaus and with the different type of the mountains, the different mountains, fold mountains, block mountains and volcanic mountains. Okay, thank you children. In the next session, I will move towards the third landform, which is known as the plains and which is very important. Okay, thank you. I'll continue in the next session.